My wife whispered, "Please stop recording." When I caught her with my best man at our wedding reception, I smiled. Okay, then hit Facebook Live, walked out, and let her family brand me the villain. Hours later, I learned what they'd been hiding. I, 32, caught my wife, 29F, cheating with my best man during our wedding reception. I live-streamed it instead of confronting them. Now her family is calling me the villain, so this happened 2 weeks ago and I'm still processing everything. I've never posted on Reddit before, but I need somewhere to get this out because I can't talk to anyone about it without them looking at me like I lost my mind. Elena and I got married 3 weeks ago. Everything seemed perfect. She's an event planner, so our wedding was flawless. Her family loved me. My best friend Mason was my best man. I'm a systems engineer, pretty quiet guy who doesn't do drama or social media much, but I thought I'd found my person. Fast forward to our wedding night. Elena said she was exhausted and wanted to rest before our honeymoon flight the next morning. I went to find her around midnight to see if she wanted some food from the leftover catering. I used my key to get into the bridal suite. I walked in, and there they were. My wife of 12 hours in bed with Mason, my college roommate, the guy who gave the toast about how some love is so pure it's meant to last forever. Here's where I know I messed up. But honestly, I wasn't thinking straight. Instead of yelling or fighting or doing what any normal person would do, I pulled out my phone and hit Facebook Live. Just started recording. I said something like, "Guess who's about to be single?" and just filmed them. Elena immediately started sobbing when she saw me with the phone. "Caleb, stop. Please, just stop recording." Mason was scrambling for his clothes, stuttering, "Man, this isn't... We weren't... Oh God, turn that off." But I kept filming. Something about their panic felt satisfying. I just kept the camera steady and said, "Say hi to everyone watching, guys. Really want to capture this moment for posterity." Elena was hyperventilating at this point. "Please, please, I'm begging you, don't do this to me." I think that's what broke me out of whatever trance I was in. I said, "Don't do this to you. Are you serious right now?" Then I ended the stream, walked out, packed my stuff from our apartment, and drove to a hotel. By morning, the video had 50,000 views. The phone calls started immediately. Elena called me 17 times that morning. When I finally answered, she was crying so hard I could barely understand her. "Caleb, you have to take it down. Please, you don't understand what this will do to my family." "What it will do to your family?" I remember my voice sounding completely flat. "What about what you did to our marriage? I know I messed up, but this is destroying everything. People are calling my mom, my work is seeing this. Please just..." I hung up. But here's the part that's really messing with my head. Elena's mom, Marjorie, called me yesterday, and the conversation still makes my blood boil. "Caleb, honey, I need you to listen to me carefully. This video needs to come down immediately." "Hello to you too, Marjorie. Are you calling to apologize for your daughter? We can deal with Elena's mistake privately, but what you've done is public humiliation. Do you understand what you're doing to our family's reputation?" I had to sit down. "Your family's reputation? Marjorie, your daughter cheated on me 12 hours after we got married. That's between you and Elena. But broadcasting it to the entire world? What will people at the club think? What about Elena's career? You've damaged an innocent girl's life over one moment of poor judgment." Innocent girl? Poor judgment? Are we talking about the same person? "Caleb, I'm asking you as family. Take down that video and let's handle this like civilized people." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You haven't asked me once if I'm okay. You haven't acknowledged what Elena did. You're just worried about what your country club friends think. Don't be dramatic. Marriage has ups and downs. But what you did is unforgivable." I hung up on her too. Elena keeps texting me stuff like, "I know you hate me, but please think about what this is doing to everyone else. And things are more complicated than you think, if you'd just talk to me." I know I shouldn't have live-streamed it. I know that was probably crazy, but I'm sitting here wondering if I'm losing my mind because everyone seems more upset about the video than about what actually happened in it. Update 1. Elena's family has completely rallied around her. Her dad actually sent me an email that started with, "As a man, I'm disappointed in how you handled this. The whole thing basically said I handled this like a child, and that mature men handle private matters privately. But the phone calls from her mom are what really got to me. Marjorie called again 2 days ago. "Caleb, I've been thinking about this situation, and I need to tell you something important. If this is about the video again, we already talked about this. It's humiliating for a woman to be exposed like that in public. Elena is devastated. She can't even go to work properly. Maybe she should have thought about that before. Mistakes happen, Caleb, but you embarrassed your wife in front of the whole community. Do you understand what you've done to her reputation?" I remember just sitting there, stunned. Her reputation. Marjorie, what about my reputation? What about the fact that everyone now knows my wife of 12 hours was in bed with my best friend? That's between you two. This video thing is public humiliation. Take it down, and we can all move forward like adults. They're not even calling it cheating. Elena's dad's email used phrases like lapse in judgment and unfortunate incident, like she accidentally tripped and fell onto Mason's dick. Mason, by the way, has completely vanished, deleted all his social media accounts. Our mutual friends say he's taking time to figure things out. One of our college buddies actually had the balls to suggest I was being too harsh on him. Elena's texts started changing around day 3. First, it was all apologies. "I'm so sorry. Please just call me back. I never meant for this to happen. I was so stressed about the wedding. I wasn't thinking clearly. Then yesterday, everything shifted. There's something important we need to discuss. Please don't file anything yet." When I didn't respond, she called me. I almost didn't answer, but something about the timing felt urgent. "Caleb, I need to tell you something, and I need you to just listen." "I'm listening." "I'm pregnant." I swear my brain just stopped working for a full 30 seconds. Then, "What did you just say?" "I found out a few days before the wedding. I wanted to wait until after our honeymoon to tell you. I know the timing is awful, but..." "Are you kidding me right now? A few days before the wedding? I was going to tell you. I wanted it to be special, romantic, not in the middle of all this wedding stress. Elena, the timing could work, but after what I saw with Mason..." "It's yours, Caleb. I swear to God, it's yours. We were together 6 weeks ago. You remember that weekend when..." I don't know what to believe anymore. "Please don't file for divorce. Not yet. We need to figure this out together." The call ended with her crying and me feeling like someone had punched me in the gut. But here's where it gets really manipulative. Marjorie called me an hour later. "Elena told me about the baby." "Did she?" "You can't abandon your pregnant wife, Caleb. I know you're angry, but there's an innocent child to think about now. Marjorie, your daughter cheated on me, on our wedding night, with my best friend. That's between you and Elena. But abandoning a pregnant woman? That's not the man I thought you were. I'm not abandoning anyone. I'm trying to figure out if I can trust a single word that comes out of her mouth. Children need their fathers, Caleb. A real man takes responsibility for his family." I actually started laughing. "A real man? Your daughter made sure I'm not even sure this is my family." The conversation kept going in circles like that. Every time I brought up the cheating, she'd redirect to the baby. Every time I mentioned trust, she'd talk about responsibility and what's best for the child. The weird part is how coordinated their response feels, like Elena's mom has been coaching her on exactly what to say. Every conversation somehow comes back to thinking about the future and what's best for the family. I've been staying with my brother while I figure this out. He thinks I'm being manipulated, but honestly, what if the baby is mine? What if I walk away from my own kid because I'm angry at Elena? I brought up a paternity test when Elena called back later. "I can't believe you don't trust me. Elena, I walked in on you with another man. Trust isn't exactly my strong suit right now. Those tests can hurt the baby. Do you really want to risk our child's health because you can't believe that I made one mistake?" One mistake? That's what we're calling this. I'm not doing anything that could hurt this baby, Caleb. If you can't take my word for it, then maybe that says something about you, not me. The gaslighting is unreal. She cheated, but somehow I'm the one with trust issues. I feel like I'm going crazy. Update 2. I can't believe I'm back here again. But the situation has gotten so much darker that I need to get this out somewhere. After my last post, I decided I needed real answers about this pregnancy. Every time I asked Elena for specifics about dates, her story kept changing. So I started pushing harder. Our conversation from 2 nights ago. Elena, when exactly did you find out you were pregnant? I told you, a few days before the wedding. Which day exactly? Tuesday? Wednesday? I don't remember the exact day. Why does that matter? Because if you're telling me this baby is mine, the timing has to add up. When did you take the test? Why are you interrogating me? I'm already stressed enough without you acting like I'm lying about everything. I'm not interrogating you. I'm asking simple questions that you should be able to answer. It was the Thursday before the wedding. I took the test Thursday morning, but here's the thing. She told me 3 days ago it was Monday. Last week she said it was maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. The story kept shifting every time we talked. When I brought up paternity testing again, her reaction was pure panic. Those tests are dangerous, Caleb. What if something happens to the baby? There are safe options now. We can do a simple blood test. No, I'm not risking my child's health because you can't trust me. Our child, if it's mine. And that's exactly why we need to know for sure. The fact that you even want that test tells me everything about what you think of me. The conversation ended with her hanging up on me. But an hour later, her mom called. Caleb, honey, I think you and I need to have a serious talk. Can you come to the house? I should have said no. Looking back, every instinct told me this was a setup. But I needed answers, and Elena clearly wasn't going to give them to me. When I got to their house, Marjorie had the whole scene set up, made coffee, had tissues ready, the works. The conversation started innocent enough. I want you to know how much we care about your happiness. This family just wants what's best for everyone. Okay. Elena isn't thinking clearly right now. The stress of everything is making her confused about details. You know how pregnancy hormones can affect women's memory. That's when I knew something was off. Marjorie, Elena's barely 2 months pregnant. Pregnancy hormones don't make you forget when you took a pregnancy test. Well, she's been under a lot of pressure. How long have you known Elena was pregnant? The question hung in the air for about 10 seconds. I watched her face cycle through several emotions before she settled on defensive. I only found out when Elena told you. Look me in the eye and say that again. Caleb, I don't appreciate being. Marjorie, I'm done with the games. How long have you known? She started crying then. Not the manipulative crying from before, but genuine distress. And then it all came out. Elena came to me 6 weeks before the wedding. She was terrified, confused. She didn't know what to do. My stomach dropped. 6 weeks before the wedding. She was scared, Caleb. She needed her mother. And you knew there were questions about who the father was. She was confused about timing. That's not what I asked. Did you know she was unsure about paternity? Long pause. Yes. I just sat there for a minute, trying to process what I'd just heard. You watched me plan my wedding. You watched me give speeches about starting a family with your daughter. You toasted our future together, all while knowing she might be pregnant with someone else's baby. Elena deserves to be happy. What about what I deserve, Marjorie? You're a good man, Caleb. You would do the right thing. That phrase hit me like a slap. The right thing? You mean raise someone else's child while being lied to about it? The father doesn't matter as long as someone takes responsibility. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The father doesn't matter? To who? To you? To Elena? Because it sure as hell matters to me. You were going to be a wonderful father, based on a lie. Based on Elena trapping me into a marriage while hiding a pregnancy that might not even be mine. Marjorie actually had the audacity to look offended. Elena isn't trying to trap anyone. She made a mistake, and we were trying to protect the family. Whose family? Because you sure as hell weren't protecting mine. You don't understand what this would do to our reputation. If people found out Elena was pregnant and there were questions about the circumstances, and there it was. The real reason. Not Elena's well-being, not the baby's well-being, not mine. Their reputation. You were planning for me to be the patsy. The stable guy who'd clean up whatever mess Elena made and never ask questions. That's not how we see it. That's exactly how you see it. Elena gets to have her cake and eat it too, and I get to live a lie for the rest of my life. I left without saying another word. I've hired a divorce attorney and a private investigator. If Elena won't tell me the truth, I'll find it myself. The worst part is how Marjorie kept talking about protecting the family. But whose family was she protecting? Because it sure wasn't mine. Final update: I honestly don't know how to begin this, but I owe everyone who followed this story an update. The truth turned out to be so much worse than anything I could have imagined. My private investigator finished his work last week. What he found made me understand why Elena and her family were so desperate to keep me from asking questions. The father isn't Mason. It isn't some random guy. It's Trent Crossley, Elena's first cousin, her own family member. When my PI laid out the evidence, I had to read it 3 times before it sank in. Phone records, hotel receipts, witness statements. Elena and Trent have been involved for years, not months, years. This isn't some recent affair that got out of hand. This goes back to before Elena and I even started dating. The pregnancy timeline finally made sense. The panic when I mentioned paternity tests. The coordinated family response. They weren't just covering up cheating. They were covering up something that would destroy their entire family reputation. I sat on this information for 2 days, trying to figure out how to process it. Then I called Elena and asked her to meet me for coffee. I needed to hear her explain this in her own words. The conversation started normal enough. "I'm glad you called. I've been thinking about everything, and I know we can work through this. Elena, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest with me." "Okay. Is Trent the father of your baby?" The silence was deafening. She didn't even try to deny it, just started crying immediately. "Caleb, just answer the question. Is Trent the father?" "Yes." I don't know what I expected, but hearing her actually say it hit differently than reading it in a report. "How long have you two been involved?" "It's complicated." "No, Elena, it's really not complicated." "How long?" "Since college. On and off. We never meant for it to happen, it did." "Since college. Elena, you've been with your cousin for over a decade?" "We have feelings for each other. It's not like some sick thing you're making it sound like." I had to laugh at that. "Not sick. Elena, you married me while carrying your cousin's baby. You had sex with Mason to create a cover story. You manipulated your entire family into helping you trick me into raising a child that's the product of an incestuous relationship. Which part of that isn't sick? Don't call it that. What would you call it? We love each other, but we could never be public about it because of people like you who wouldn't understand." "People like me? You mean people who expect their wives not to be in decade-long sexual relationships with their cousins?" The conversation went on for another 20 minutes. Elena actually tried to explain their plan like it was reasonable. "You're stable and kind. You would have been a good father. Trent and I could have stayed close as family, and nobody would have been hurt." "Nobody would have been hurt? I would have been living a lie for the rest of my life. You would have had a family, a child to love. Does it really matter whose DNA?" "Yes, Elena, it matters. It matters that you lied to me. It matters that you used me. It matters that you were planning to let me raise a baby while continuing to sleep with its actual father behind my back. We weren't going to continue. Stop lying. You've been lying for years. To me, to everyone. Just stop." That's when she finally broke down completely and admitted the real plan. She and Trent were going to continue their relationship. They figured once I was locked into the marriage with a baby, I'd never leave. Trent would be Uncle Trent, who spent a lot of time with our family. They'd have everything they wanted, their relationship, a child, and someone else to handle all the public and financial responsibilities. "I chose you because you're a good man who would never abandon a child, even if you found out it wasn't yours later." That line will haunt me forever. She picked me to be her cover story, her beard, her patsy. When I asked about Mason, the answer was even more disgusting. I needed someone to point to if questions came up about paternity. Mason was convenient. Convenient? You destroyed my friendship with my best friend because it was convenient? I only slept with him a few times, just enough to establish a timeline. If you'd found out about the pregnancy, you would have assumed it was his. And the wedding night, when I caught you with him, that was panic. My mom said if you suspected anything about the baby, I should make sure you caught me with Mason instead of anyone else. Marjorie knew. Elena's dad knew. Trent's parents knew. The entire family was in on this elaborate scheme to trick me into raising their incest baby while they continued their relationship behind my back. I asked her why they didn't just run away together if they loved each other so much. Trent has his business here, his reputation. I have my career. We couldn't just leave everything behind. But you could sacrifice my entire life instead. We thought it would work out for everyone. Trent, by the way, hasn't said a word to me through any of this. When my investigator approached him, he immediately hired a lawyer and left town. Word around their social circle is that he's taking an extended business trip to explore new markets. I filed the divorce papers yesterday. My attorney is pursuing fraud charges. Elena's family has completely cut me off. No more phone calls about family values or thinking about the baby. Now I'm vindictive and destroying an innocent girl's life for revenge. The most surreal part is that some people still think I should have just accepted the situation. Elena's aunt called my brother to say that blood doesn't make a father, and that I'm abandoning an innocent child. I've moved back to my hometown and started fresh. New job, new apartment, new life. I deleted most of my social media, but I kept the wedding video up. It's over 200,000 views now, and I have no plans to take it down.